Hello, students. In our last class, we discussed the challenges of communalism. Today, we're going to explore the solution, a concept that is really at the very heart of our democracy, secularism. So, here's what we'll be looking at today. First, we'll quickly touch upon the problem of communalism again. Then, we'll see the solution, creating a secular state. After that, we'll look at what our Constitution actually guarantees. We'll also explore what makes India's approach so unique, and finally, we'll understand why secularism is such a foundational pillar of our democracy. To really understand why a solution is so important, we have to first properly understand the problem. And communalism has been and continues to be one of the biggest challenges for our country. So what is communalism really? Well, it begins with a very simple but very dangerous idea that your religion is your main identity. It's the belief that everybody who follows the same religion automatically forms one single community, and they all have the exact same interests. Now, this kind of thinking is deeply problematic. Why? Because it can lead to one group demanding political power over others. In politics, this often means using sacred symbols and emotional appeals to gather support. And in its most extreme, ugliest form, it can lead to terrible, terrible violence, to riots and massacres. The people who wrote our Constitution, they were very aware of this danger. So let's take a look at how they decided to handle this massive challenge to build a strong and united India. They had a very difficult question in front of them. India, as we all know, is a land of incredible religious diversity. So how could they possibly build a democracy where people of all faiths, every single faith, could live together as equal citizens? And the answer they chose, the very foundation they laid for our nation, was the model of a secular state. This wasn't just a random decision, it was a very deliberate, thoughtful choice made to protect the unity of our new country. Okay, so what does it actually mean to be a secular state? Let's dive into the specifics, the actual rules or provisions written in our Constitution that make it so. These are the pillars that hold up Indian secularism. First, and this is probably the most important point, India has no official state religion. Our Constitution does not give a special status to any one religion. This is very different from many other countries, isn't it? For example, in Sri Lanka, Buddhism is the state religion. In Pakistan, it's Islam. And in England, it's Christianity. But in India, all religions are equal in the eyes of the state. Second, the Constitution gives every single person and every community complete freedom of religion. This means you have the right to believe in, to practice, and even to share your religious beliefs with others. And just as importantly, this freedom also includes the freedom to not follow any religion. That choice is also protected. And third, our Constitution makes it absolutely clear that the government cannot discriminate against any citizen simply because of their religion. Everyone is equal before the law, no matter what faith they follow. Now here is where Indian secularism gets really interesting and unique. It's not exactly the same as the Western idea, which often talks about a strict wall of separation between religion and the state. Our approach is a little different. You see, our Constitution actually allows the state to step into religious matters, but, and this is a very important but, it can only do so for a specific reason, to stop harmful social practices and to make sure there is equality within religious communities themselves. A very powerful example of this is the ban on untouchability. For centuries, this inhuman practice was justified in the name of religion. The Indian state intervened and said no. It banned the practice completely to ensure that all citizens are treated with dignity and equality. So this brings us to a very crucial point that I want you all to remember, especially for your exams. Secularism in India is not anti-religion. It does not mean being against religion, not at all. Instead, it is based on the idea of giving equal respect and protection to all religions. All right, let's move to our final section. Here, we'll see why this idea of secularism isn't just a government policy, but the very foundation of our democracy and our nation itself. Think about it. For a country as incredibly diverse as ours, our democracy can only work if everyone feels that they are being treated fairly. If any group feels unequal, the very fabric of our nation can start to weaken. And that is why we say that communalism isn't just a threat to one group of people. It is a threat to the very foundation of our nation, the very idea of India that our freedom fighters dreamed of. So, as we finish up today, I want to leave you with a question to think about. After everything we've discussed, why is our secular constitution the most important shield we have to protect the unity of our diverse and beautiful country? Think about it.